This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
I'll open up with my first question is that 95 to 98% of the complaints the CRCC receives are currently turned over to the Rcmp for investigation. And according to the NPF, the process of investigating CRCC complaints takes approximately 60,000 hours a year away from Rcmp core duties. And they take issue with the fact that the police is essentially investigating themselves. Can you tell this committee whether the new PCRC will be truly independent and what actions you will take to stop reducing the number of frontline resources available to the Rcmp? And I'll open that up. I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly who wanted to take that.
The PCRC will be fully independent in that it alone will decide what to investigate itself. It makes its own rules. It draws its own evidence. It has its own rules of evidence. The PCRC, as under the current regime of the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission, would ordinarily give the right of the first instance of investigation to RCMP or CBSA. And experience shows that the vast majority of complaints can be resolved at that stage with the initial investigation by the agency itself. When the complainant is not satisfied with the results of that agency, they can return to the Commission and the Commission can decide to conduct a review. So it preserves, in the case of the RCMP, the status quo, and in the case of CBSA, creates a parallel arrangement.
Thank you for that. And perhaps I could have Deputy Larkin comment on. I was a little bit shocked when I had a meeting recently with your association, the NPF, and hearing the amount of time that's being taken away from frontline services, especially in some small communities where perhaps they don't have all that many officers to start with. Could you maybe comment on that and tell me if that number is accurate and how you see that's going to be cured going forward?
Thanks very much. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Shipley, thank you for the question. And on a 5-year average, about 2,385 complaints do come in. As my colleague, Mr. Coops, alluded to, there's a right of first refusal. But to give you some insight into, I think one of the important pieces that we believe is managing the actual level of complaint. And so out of that average, about 13% are actually withdrawn. So through initial dialogue and or discussion, and through informal resolution, about 35% of those complaints are addressed. And from a larger perspective, so satisfying service levels, satisfying the individual's concern about the action of the RCMP member, we still believe that there's a uniqueness where if you can actually informally resolve the complaint and bring to a satisfaction level, then there's some good in that outcome. But we do recognize the impact on our level of service when we look at the demand on the level of RCMP across our country is significant and continues to grow based on our current challenges. But again, we are completing files in a relatively quick time, and my colleague, Assistant Commissioner Alfredo Banglo, may provide further information that would assist you in your inquiry.
Thank you. There's not really much further information that I could provide. Other than that, this has been something that we have been doing for quite a number of years, and we work as best we can with the resources that we're given. And there's always resourcing challenges, and we certainly are in a recruiting crunch right now. But we basically just work as best we can with the resources that we have.
And I had a list of comments here, but my colleague, MP Dancho, mentioned earlier to the minister, I'm going to take the opportunity now. It has been a rough couple of years for policing, and I know across the country recruiting is a problem. Assistant Commissioner Bangler, sorry, I was going to say Deputy Assistant. Are you finding that's improving at all? Are you having problems? Are you fulfilling the not just the growth that's probably needed, but the openings that are happening from retirements or people moving on from the career?
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for the question, and thank you for the concern. Certainly across the nation, not just within the RCMP, all police services have been facing a challenging time. When we look at our current climate, and in particular, the loss of recent on-duty deaths magnifies that. So in short, recruitment in policing is not just simply a national issue, it's a global issue. The experiences in working with the International Association of Chiefs of Police, I can tell you that globally all police leaders are having a similar discussion. Commissioner Duhem is very committed to recruitment and working with all of our stakeholders. And so we are actually proactively right now launching a significant review and modernization of our recruitment process, and many of those processes are in place. But we are working, for example, with the National Police Federation on how do we enhance trust and confidence. And one of those key pieces is public complaint processes, and ensuring that people are satisfied with the institution of policing is also a key pillar. And so when we get these types of processes correct, we also build trust and confidence. And so we do believe that we're, seeing light at the end of the tunnel around recruitment. We do believe that there's opportunities to engage all Canadians. We've made changes to permanent residents. We've made changes to diversifying our workforce. And so we do see a number of strategies. We have seen a slow uptick on recruiting processes. However, this year we're likely to just move through about 800 individuals through Rcmp depot, which again will meet existing standards. But when we look at the demographics of our workforce, we're seeing attrition, we're seeing enhanced retirements, and so there are challenges for the organization, and recruitment is one of the key pillars for Commissioner Duhem. In fact, right now it's the number one priority is to fill vacancies across our country, deal with releasability and mobility issues across, because we are a national police service, and in fact a global police service where we have members deployed. So it is a cause for concern, but I would say that all police leaders share in that cause concern, not just the RCMP.
Thank you, Mr. Shipley.
Okay.